What is going wrong at Real Madrid? Real Madrid are currently in second place in the Liga, and honestly, they just trashed Liverpool at Anfield. But there's something that has to be said on the squad that this team has. As a longtime Real Madrid fan, I have been with this team through it all the ups, all the downs. Regardless of how the results were, the overall squad was good enough to compete. However, this current squad is not. And I don't mean like this team is bad. Obviously, they're not. They just won the Champions League last season, and they were in first place last season in the Liga. So this team is good. What I mean is that the squad depth is bad. Ancelotti's main squad, I would say the main 14 players of the team, are solid and all can compete in any competition in the world. However, there is a massive drop off after those 14 main players. The squad depth is just not good enough, especially during the season that has had the World Cup during the middle of it. I want to discuss every single position. First position is goalie. This position is secure. We have Thibaut Courtois, who's in my opinion the best goalie in the world, and Lunin as a backup, who's also a really solid goalie. So this position is covered 100%. Next is the defense, and to me, this is where all the issues start. The center backs are all really good and enough quality to play for Real Madrid. There's no issues there. Rudiger, Alaba, Militao, Vallejo, and Nacho are all amazing. Rudiger, Alaba, Militao, world class. Nacho is one of the most versatile players I've ever seen, and Vallejo is good enough at what he does to have a spot on this team. To me, the issues start with the fullbacks. The squad depth really becomes a glaring issue when you look at our fullbacks. I mean, the only real right back we have is Carvajal, and the second choice right back is Nacho, who's a center back, and the third choice right back is Lucas Vasquez, who's a right winger, turned into a right back. So technically, we have three right backs. Two of them who are not right backs, but all three are not good enough to start for this team. At least at the level that every other right back is playing around the world. Nacho is one of the most solid defensive players I've ever seen in my life, but there's a reason he's never become a set in stone starter for this team. Defensively, he's a wall, but going forward is where he starts to lack. And Lucas Vasquez is a complete opposite. He can go forward all he wants, but defensively he becomes a liability because he's a center. He's a right winger. And our first choice right back is Carvajal, and Carvajal hasn't been in his prime for a long time. He's been dealing with a lot of injuries. He has his magnificent moments once again every now and then, but overall he's not the player he used to be, and that's understanding. Like I said, he's dealt with a lot of injuries, but that's why we need to get in a new right back. But the squad, I mean, the leaders at the club just don't feel like we need one, which I don't see why they think that. I would argue the right back is our weakest position in the squad by far. And don't get me wrong, I love all of those three players. They have been loyal and love Real Madrid just as much as I do. But I feel like it's time to get in a new, younger right back like Hakimi, which we had and we sold. So yeah, I think maybe it's time to get in Vinicius Tobias from Castilla and give him a shot. At least maybe like the last couple minutes of some games, just to see what he can show. Now, left back is also an issue, but I don't think it's as big as an issue as right back, just because Mendy is one of the best defensive fullbacks in the world, and he does what he does good. And he is the reason we won a lot of games, at least last season. Mendy's defensive actions overall have been off the charts. Like, that's something that just cannot be argued. However, and this is a big however, he is completely lacking going forward. And that has caused us a bunch of issues. It's like he refuses to go forward. Like, like if you see Real Madrid play, you would understand what I mean. He like refuses to go past maybe a couple feet after the halfway line, and it becomes an issue for the overall squad flow because opposing teams can just isolate Vinicius super easily. And I want to make a whole video discussing this one specific topic, but that's for a different day. So overall, Mendy is really good. But again, the squad depth here is an issue because we have no left back. I mean, no backup left back, like whatsoever. Our backup left backs are Nacho, who is a center back and also the backup right back, Alaba, who is now a center back and who used to be one of the best left backs in the world, but he's publicly stated that he doesn't like being a left back anymore. And when he plays, you can see He's not a good left back anymore, even though he's a really good center back. And our final backup is Camavinga. And I know Camavinga is a center mid, but I personally think Camavinga is this squad's best left back. Sure, he can be iffy defensive wise, just because obviously he's not a left back, so his positioning can be uh off at times. But going forward, the amount of help he provides Vinicius is game changing. But regardless, Mendy is our only left back, and we have no official left backup. Like how I don't know. I don't understand how that's acceptable. Like I said, when it comes to left back, I want to make a whole video about it, and that will come soon. Next position is the midfield, and I think the midfield is overall good. I mean, there's nothing else to say about this. The squad depth in the midfield is perfect. Um, it's the one part in the team where the squad depth is not an issue, and I feel like the midfield overall is balanced. There is no glaring issue. I might have said not having a backup for Tchouaméni would have been a bad thing, but Camavinga has showed that he can do the job as CDM perfectly fine when Tchouaméni isn't there. And we have Mario Martin from Castilla, who's an absolute baller, and he's been getting a few minutes in the first team. So the squad depth in midfield is perfectly fine. I think it's one of the best midfields in the world. We'll discuss this again at the end of the season and see if players come and go, and then we'll talk about it again. But for at this very moment, the midfield squad depth is amazing. Now the final position is forwards, and this is where I think the squad depth is an issue, but it can be easily fixed. One of the biggest issues I think is Benzema not having a backup. I mean, he's been injured a lot this season, and when he's not there, it really shows in the squad. But last game we played with Alvaro Rodriguez, and I feel like if he gets more minutes in the first team, then the backup is right there. Then the squad depth for striker is fixed. However, before that, it was a glaring issue because Mariano was not even like contemplated in the squad, so he was just like non-existent to the team. So that's why I would have said that was an issue before. But if Alvaro Rodriguez gets minutes more, then there's no issue. The wingers for the team are overall good. I mean, we have Vinicius, who is one of the best, if not the best, left winger in the world. Then we have Rodrigo, who is also one of the best right wingers in the world, even though he's originally a left winger, but we play him as a right winger, but he still gets the job done. Then we have Asensio, who is one of the most solid wingers in the world, in my opinion. Like, he might not be world class, but when we call upon him, he gets the job done, and he always scores bangers. However, I feel like we need to put more rotation into the attacking lineup, just because, like I said, it's a long season with a lot of games, and Hazard not being considered a part of the team anymore, I feel like it's gonna put a lot of strain on our players' legs. So I feel like this could be easily fixed if we just promote someone from Castilla like Arribas. Like, I don't think we should add like a superstar winger as a backup, but Arribas is good enough to play for this team, and I feel like he should get a shot. And with all the games coming up, I see no better time to at least give him a shot in the team, just to be able to rotate our lineup more. But it really pains me to see Hazard not live up to the expectations that we had of him as Real Madrid fans, because I felt like he really did want to succeed at this team, but injuries kept him out. And I feel like even when he's like fully fit, he's not fully fit, and I feel like he lost some of his confidence. So I mean, Ancelotti doesn't even consider him a part of the team anymore. So that's why having Arribas promoted would be ideal for this team. So those are my overall thoughts and concerns on the squad. Obviously, the squad is good enough to compete in whatever competition they're in. However, and that's a big however, after those few players that Ancelotti uses, the squad depth really begins to lack. I will make more videos expanding on each position and my thoughts and ideas, but for now, this is my overall opinion on the squad itself. So thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe, and also leave a comment if you agree or disagree on anything I said here. Thank you. Have a good one.